Hi, everyone. This is Tova Devorin, Content and Community Manager at Duality. Today, it's International Women in Engineering Day, so I'll be speaking to one of our top engineers, Saroja Erabelli. Saroja, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, thanks.
Thanks for taking the time. I just wanted to ask you a few questions about how did you get into engineering?
I've always been someone that as a kid, ever since I was a kid, I really liked puzzles and I really liked math just for that reason. I like solving problems. Um, Cryptography is something I've actually been interested in as a kid as well. So I had these friends I think I was when I was 11 years old. I had friends that would send me codes just for fun, and I would just try to crack them. Really simple kind of cryptography where, each letter would just correspond to another letter. And so that was my first real exposure to it. And then when I was 12 or 13, I started learning about the math behind cryptography. And I didn't even know it was related at the time. So it's called number theory.
Mhm.
And that once I started learning about number theory, I thought it was so cool, just all these properties behind numbers. And like at the time, I found that the only really application of number theory was to cryptography, and just having everything connect together, like all the things I was interested in into this one area, just made me really always be want to pursue cryptography as a career.
Wow, awesome. And where do your friends actually learn how to do those codes? I'm just curious.
Um, they just made them up. They were like, oh, like maybe if I shift each letter to the one on top of it on a keyboard, let's see if my friends can figure this out. It's just like they just thought of it on their own.
Well, so what steps did you have to take to actually be able to get into cryptographic engineering? What was that process like?
hmm yeah, so once I kind of realized that I was really interested in this field, so I kept on learning more about number theory. So that's the area of math that is relevant. So it was around high school, I also started learning how to code. So I started learning how to code in Java. And at first, I mean, you just take all the steps you need to learn how to program. And then I think I started looking into research projects in high school as well about what it actually looks like as a research field. So I remember I just was doing a Google search. I was reading some paper about cryptography, and I try to think of a similar question to try to do as like my science fair project in high school. And I really didn't have that much background then, but even just taking the time to read one paper in the field just helped me get an idea of what kind of things people had to do to be in this field. And so like for my project, I had to learn how to code the algorithms in the paper. So I just tried doing that on myself. So I took the classes necessary, I guess, where I know how to code this, and then just understanding the paper were the steps that got me started. And then, after high school, like I knew I wanted to major in math and computer science. These are two areas I've always really liked. It was related to what I wanted to do. And so when I majored in math and computer science, yeah, there was a set curriculum to take, and all of those classes definitely really helped. Oh yeah, all the classes in the math and computer science curriculum in undergrad really helped me learn more about this area.
Where are you holding now? I mean, I know from my experience with other duality R&D and engineers that sometimes you could be 18 and just out of a software engineering class, and you could still work at duality in a certain capacity. And sometimes you can have a PhD and be in the field for 30 years and be in cryptographic engineering and duality. So how did you find us? How do you like it so far? And beyond that, where do you see yourself going?
Mhm. Yeah, so when I was an undergrad at MIT, I was looking for kind of areas of cryptography to work on, and that's where I met Vinod and Shafi, and I got really interested in homomorphic encryption during my undergrad. So that was why I decided to pursue a master's to try to learn more about homomorphic encryption. So during my master's, I worked with Vinod and basically was looking at a homomorphic encryption scheme and implement. So yeah, I found out about Duality through Vinod. I worked at a few other cryptography startups before this, but that's how I ended up here.
And where do you see yourself going? I mean, we obviously hope that Duality will be bought or turned into this major multinational company in the future. So I'm assuming that in today's job market, for one reason or another, both of us won't be here forever, right? So where do you see yourself going even like 5 years from now?
Mhm. Um, I think so. I really just want to be an expert in the field of homomorphic encryption. I think there's a lot of different things you have to learn to really call yourself an expert. There's all the math behind all the schemes. There's a lot of just really good software engineering principles you have to learn to create, the open source library that we've created right now as Palisade and soon to be OpenFHE. Um, there's there's a lot of performance engineering types of things to learn. So I really want to be able to learn all of the possible areas that would make me an expert, and hopefully I can call myself one in 5 years. And yeah, we'll see where that takes me. I don't know about like, yeah, where that will be exactly, but that is what I want to be.
Well, that sounds perfectly reasonable, actually, and you never know. Anyway, I am a little bit off topic, but I had to ask. My sources tell me that you're really into ultimate frisbee, right? If I'm not mistaken. And I just wanted to ask how you got into it. I happen to have a really good friend from high school who's also a rock star engineer who's really into ultimate frisbee. So tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I got first introduced to it at a math camp. It was just kind of the activity we did for fun at the time. And yeah, a lot of these math camps are really male dominated, so I'd always be playing with a bunch of boys. But when I got to college, when I saw that there was a women's ultimate frisbee team, I got really excited. I didn't even know it was a real sport. I just really thought it was something like you do for fun. And it's a little bit more niche as a sport. Like I didn't consider it a real sport at the time. Like I used to play basketball in high school. But it was really just after joining the team at MIT that I really got into it as a sport, just meeting the team and seeing how committed everyone was. And I really just love the team dynamic where, we're working really hard together towards a goal, and we pushed each other, we supported each other. And yeah, now I never look back now. I'm still playing on a club team in New York, and it's so fun. I love pushing myself. I love being able to get better at something.
Cool. I mean, just hearing you talk about it, do you find that it gave you practice in a way for being in a male dominated field? I mean, right, you were in a male dominated sport, and you also had to work on a team to get towards a shared goal. And that's sort of what being on an R&D team of any kind is like, right? You're dealing usually with a male dominated team of experts to be able to get to the same place in terms of technology. Do you find there are parallels, or are they totally different?
Yeah, actually, yeah, ultimate frisbee is an interesting one because there's actually three divisions. There's a men's division, a women's division, and there's a mixed division. So yeah, the mixed division, definitely you do have to, like as a woman in in the sport, you find yourself in certain situations. Sometimes, you want to make sure, all the women on your team are getting enough playing time. Sometimes it's definitely easy, like especially in sports, for it to be very male dominated. And it definitely has helped me be more aware of how to, uplift the women around me, like as a teammate. And yeah, it definitely it is very a similar dynamic, I would say.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to shed light on this. And hopefully we'll be able to see more of your writing soon and hear more from you soon. Thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you too.